Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. And we have a requested topic from Brother Jordan or Jordine. And I apologize if I butchered your name. He wants to know, what does it mean that the evil one eats their children? So that is very, easy for me to let you know. That's a very easy question for me, but it's also a very meticulous question. The first thing that you have to know, that there are different levels of entities. There are different levels of demonic people, different levels of narcissists who have these attachments to them. So we have at the very high level the people like the president. We have people that are, in his surrounding, in his cabinet, advisors, people of that nature who are well-to-do. But we're going to talk about the entertainers, and we'll get back to those people who are at the highest levels, like leaders and presidents. So in our homes, we have the parents who are the leaders. And in many cases, they can sacrifice their children, their entire life, in order to have their wealth, their gifts, their beauty, whatever it is, they can, sacrifice those children, and they will receive the reward from the entity of more power, more beauty, more wealth. They will be, well-to-do, and they will be, powerful within that capacity. Okay, you understand? So, Brother Jordan, you have to understand, when you reach another level where you have sacrificed your own soul, where you have sacrificed your gifts to the entity, and you have given your gifts over to this entity for worldly gain, for luxury, for comfort and ease, then this term comes from those types of people who now has to sacrifice their children, who have to prep their children to go into the entity. And usually it is those entertainers who will do this with their children, that they will sacrifice their children to the entity so that they will continue to stay relevant, so that they can continue to, have a good voice, good looks, so that they can continue to, have a nice body, have a nice voice. So all of these things, so that they can have money. All of these things you have to understand when we're talking about these entities that eat their children. Okay, they're siphoning the energy of their children. So they will they will allow their children to do uncanny things. They will allow their children to have a reprobated mind. Meaning that, they will condone, being lesbians, gay, and they will allow their children at a very young age in order to have sex change and things of that nature, without letting them reach an age to grow into themselves. Okay, so they're siphoning, their eggs, they're siphoning their children from their own children already when they're doing this. They're siphoning the seed of their children when they're doing this. Okay, so they're eating their own children. They're living off of the energy, and they're sacrificing their children. Now, again, in both cases, when these people have mentally challenged and physically challenged kids. In many cases, they will keep these kids hidden so that they can siphon their energy, so that they can siphon their financial energy, so that they can, eat off of their health. I've known, many warlocks and witches. I've seen many warlocks and witches in positions of status, in positions inside of the home, who are using, sorcery, witchcraft, black magic, black matter, the evil eye towards their own children, in order to, keep them hidden. These kids who are mentally challenged and physically challenged. And also, especially if they have outside children. If they have outside children, then in many cases, they want to keep those children hid, especially, from the world, because they don't want people to talk about their wrongs. They don't want people to gossip about them. And many times they will siphon the energy of these children. And they will sacrifice these children to the entity, and no one can do anything about it. Okay, they will drive these people, these mentally challenged and physically challenged people, the ones who are very sickly, they're going to drive them insane. They're going to drive them sickly even more by siphoning the energy, by eating these children. So when you wanted to know, and I hope that this answers your question, because we have these people who have been in society. When you have a child that is a chosen one, that knows a lot, before their time, that can do things before their time, these parents will usually try to siphon the energy of these types of children that they know who carry a light. They will eat these children's energy. They will make them sick. They will, make them feel dumb. They will belittle them. And this may trigger some of you, because some of these things have been going on in your life. Okay, many of these people who are chosen ones, will become addicts. They will become, sickly if they do not fight back. So, this is what we mean. They will siphon your financial energy. They will keep you going in and out of jail. They will want you to be in the lowest reduced place in society so that they can continue to keep your mind under a veil, to keep your heart under a veil, so you never find out who you are. Okay, so now we're going to get to these people who are leaders and presidents. So they no longer have to siphon the energy of their parents or of their children. These parents no longer have to siphon the energy of their children when they make it to a higher status. They start siphoning the other people who are vulnerable to them, to the people that they lead, to the people that they rule. They start sacrificing these people and doing things, behind closed doors, in the dark, in order to maintain that power, in order to, be rewarded by the entity, the shayateen, on a massive level. And their whole entire existence, is about sacrificing and writing negative laws, doing negative things to people who are less than them, who they perceive as being less, and they are never challenged, or they do not like to be challenged. Okay, because of their high position, they can harm people. People can lose their job. They like that kind of fear. They like that kind of elevation, that status in life. So, I've given you 3 different levels of these types of people, narcissists, demonic people that eat their own children. And sometimes it's not their own children. When they reach such a high level, in society, they start feeding off of other people's children, other people who are vulnerable, and they start to make sure that they are never challenged, because the entity has given them the reward, for doing his bidding. So I hope that this has answered your question. Brother Jordan, please, you can reach out to me if you're having these types of issues in your life. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. You can book your one-on-one sessions with me. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.